Why would you inhale, Barry? I see a strange smoke coming out of some strange device. I'm not gonna be like, wonder if it's chicken. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Flash. We're now on to episode 7, which is called Lockdown. So the last episode, we saw that the West Island children were up to all kinds of time-traveling hijinks. They basically wanted to stop things from changing in the future because of things that they had altered in the past. They jumped around and it seems like everything was fixed, except we saw towards the end that there is still a little bit of something that wasn't quite fixed. Iris's hairbrush, I think it was, disappeared out of existence. So we're not exactly sure where that's leading, but obviously I feel like it's going to be a ripple effect that probably is going to continue for a few episodes, because we all know when it comes to the Wests, or I should say the Allens, and time travel, it usually never ends up well. So we're just going to have to see how that all pans out. So we're going to jump into the episode, but before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you like it here and you'll think about hitting that thumbs up button. If you do, it just really helps with me with the algorithm. It helps me out a lot and I appreciate it very, very much. And if you really like it here, you can hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I do more reactions to this show as well as others. And if this is your third or fourth or 10th time back to my channel, thank you so much for coming back. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button as well. We would love to have you as part of the fam. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into episode 7 right about now. What do we got? Big belly? Not a Superman. Oh, Supergirl lunchbox. Okay.
When they have their amazing chicken parmesan sandwiches, so I thought, it's lunchtime. Why not surprise you with a treat?
Wow, that's your soulmate right there, and she knows you hungry without even knowing you hungry.
I think these guys could use some help finding their cells.
Thanks, Flash.
Not the applause. Please don't.
Any chance Flash brought that latte I ordered?
Officer,
The entitlement.
But the Flash caught those guys. That's a good thing, right?
how can I press charges when I don't know what crimes were committed, how they were done, and where?
Yeah, not the most thorough of roundups.
We've got a lot of legwork to do.
It's okay, Bear. It's okay. Because if you didn't do anything, they'd be complaining about that too.
What she and I went through when we were tracking down Craig, I trust her with my life. Maybe you should consider letting her in a bit more. Give her one of the alert apps.
I mean, everybody else in Central City knows who you are. Like, it's not a big deal anymore.
But I also know Kramer, and if she's asking for a line to the Flash, she probably has a good reason. Just saying.
I mean, she probably also wants to understand more about her meta-ness, too. But what I don't understand, too, is that because, like, is her meta ability supposed to be able to, like, mimic whatever she's in contact with or proximity to? So how does she not just burst into, like, speed every single time she's around Barry?
Fancy date night. Sounds expensive.
Yeah, date talk again, huh? What y'all gonna do about it? That looks like a bomb. Why would you inhale, Barry? I see a strange smoke coming out of some strange device. I'm not gonna be like, wonder if it's chicken. Wait, is this, what's her name's boyfriend again? Gold, what was his name? It is!
Time to get to work.
Is it bad that I kind of list him? He made me laugh.
Let me let my man Carver here show you what happens to anyone that gets out of line.
No, not something that says hero on it. I can't.
They don't just stamp at powers. They also do this.
They explode, don't they? Well, that's not ideal.
Hold on. Don't I know you?
No, never met before.
It's fun. Plus, they've got karaoke.
Next up, the ice pack.
There's that.
Yeah.
Guess who's singing at karaoke?
You're willing to say.
I can't. You had to know she'd be there. That's literally where she hangs out like any other minute she's not at your apartment. Come on now.
You want to stay, right? You can workshop some plans.
It's
the
like
ice
you're
bombs.
actually assaulting me and in my personal space.
Right.
No one can read a room, huh?
Double date.
You could have just said no, Kate. Would have been very easy.
This really gets in there. Things are gonna get a lot worse.
Something tells me about her meta bullets, her specialized meta bullets are in there.
Plot twist. You're not only untrustworthy, you're a coward.
Thank you.
Watch Kramer. I'm gonna take the chemist here on a little field trip.
Okay.
One last chance to live up to his name.
But chemistry has nothing to do with the skin. Okay. Let's let him have it. Sometimes you just get to be pretty, you know?
But I paid for my crimes, and Mark turned Steve. Really didn't. Some really bad guys.
She really didn't. She was in jail for like 15 minutes.
You don't like me. But Frost is an adult with her own life. And so long as she's choosing to spend it with me, then you need to deal with it.
I mean, truth. Or just get out of her life.
Because he's my boyfriend, and anything else is none of your damn business.
She has a point. I mean, if you don't like it, you can just, like, not hang out with her. I know it's not easy. I think a lot of us have been in a situation where family members dated someone that we've thought is far less than ideal, but they're adults, and you can't make them do anything you want them to, so... Or you want them to, so you either learn to deal with it, or you just keep yourself out of their lives until they make better choices.
I'm gonna watch you like a hawk watching a juicy bowl.
Wait, what? No, not this throwback.
I said I love you up top, Amy Whammy. I love you.
No, don't you dare. You are the same level of simp for Iris. Don't you dare, Barry.
Amy and I used to have separate crews, separate heists, separate hideouts, but...
The fact that he was dying to talk about his relationship, I can't.
Okay, and she helped us realize that we never truly committed. But now...
Barry's like, should I keep doing this, or are we having a little counseling session? Okay.
Touch this button right here.
Oh, that's what he was putting in his ear. How long is that going to work, and why wouldn't you try to take off your cuffs?
Nobody hides from Goldface. Nobody!
I think a lot of people hide from you, actually. Your mama probably being one of them.
Now you can mimic Goldface's powers and take him down. He'll never see you coming.
No, I'm not ready for that.
Okay, then we'll all die then. Clearly she's still scared of her meta abilities. Got it. Guess it's the theme of the episode.
You've been holding back all night. Because you're afraid to go all in with Marcus.
Excuse me, you don't get to psychoanalyze me, sir. Don't you have like a white-haired person to go chase? Leave me alone.
Your powers are our only hope of stopping Goldface.
I told you I can't.
Why not?
Because I can't control them.
Well, how else are you going to learn unless you try?
When I mimicked that other meta's abilities, if they had been more lethal, I could have killed someone without even realizing what was happening.
That's true. Which is why you need to learn how to use them.
Hoping Flash could help me learn to control them, but...
He's not the only meta, you know. There's like a whole Argus is full of them.
The old-fashioned way, and start squeezing your brave officers until they pop.
We don't like her anyways. Go ahead.
About trying to control Goldface's powers, just let it in. Let it take over and then go all in on trusting your instincts.
All in must be like a cat. Did they get paid for every time they said all in? The script writers was like, you will get $100 every time you can put all in into this script.
You know why?
I believe
You're
in
one
you.
of the bravest people I've ever met.
Oh, look at Barry giving the speeches for once. Go Kramer.
Back our house.
That's right. Thousands of years of indigenous blood flowing through your veins. Let them know.
It's by Felicia for Officer...
Not by Felicia.
And for every
Oh, maybe
minute
Miss
I'm
Cisco.
empty-handed after that, another...
What is his sidekick even there for? I'm trying to figure out his whole purpose. I'll take that. Gold versus gold. That's exactly what I expect to see. Thank you. Thank you, Flash writers. Thank you for remembering that Barry is fast enough to outrun a damn explosion. The man can literally stop the world spinning properly. He can handle a little bomb.
Now, what were you thinking? Breaking into a police station. Whose bad idea was that, anyway?
Amunet.
When do you guys get this?
Right? He's like, I'm going to get in trouble with my missus if I don't answer that. She's not going to take the whole, I got arrested by the Flash excuse. I just help a brother out.
I never could have stood up to Goldface that way if it weren't for your advice.
Thank you.
It was all you.
I've been getting speeches for like the last 7-8 years. I'm pretty good at it.
I had them transferred to Argus
Smart.
35 weeks ago.
Good job. But yeah, if she told them where they were, then they just would have tried to break into Argus, which they probably would successfully do. Why? Because no one ever protects anything in this show.
I have a lot of baggage to unpack when it comes to dating.
You think?
The reason I've been afraid to go all in with Marcus is because
That's what, $800 now?
Mark and I signed up for a roller derby on the weekend, and we need 2 extra players, so you have a mouth guard, right?
I could probably find one.
I actually could see Caitlin being pretty detrimental in roller derby, actually. The quiet ones usually have a lot of suppressed rage.
Which is why I want to share something else with you.
Oh?
A true identity.
Oh?
Alan, I know it's you.
Duh.
How did you find out?
You're kind of
I
smart.
found this charred bracelet in the storage room. There is only one way you could have escaped a bomb exploding on your wrist. Super speed.
Really? That was your tip-off? Not the fact that Barry and the Flash are never in the same place at the same time. Oh, hell no. Wait, what? Who'll be stealing the good food?
Yeah, I must have just checked out for a second.
Is this only happening to Iris? Wait, what? Wait, what's happening? I don't like this. I don't like this. Make it stop. Okay, so that kind of looked like the turtle dude's power, but we also know that everything that's happened with the whole timeline resetting thing has also been in the same color green. So that's not necessarily the case. And we haven't really seen him since earlier this season, or last season, actually. Well, guys, that was episode 7 of The Flash, which is called Lockdown, and a little bit more of a focus on Barry this episode and a little bit of Kramer. We haven't really seen a lot of her since, I'd say, last season, because she really wasn't kind of a big part of the Armageddon arc. But interesting that we saw that she's still struggling with her meta abilities. Understandable, after all. Like, the whole first half of her arc was about how much she hated metas and wanted to make them pay, and was then an anti-meta campaign, really. And then, of course, her then finding out she was in fact meta and having to make that mental shift after all the damage that she had done, and as well as all the hate, basically, that she'd been fostering. So I'm not surprised that she's not exactly, leaping into the meta life easily. I mean, when you have that kind of a emotional block about something, you have to get past that before you'll be able to move into anything else. And so I think that a lot of her lack of control over her abilities is not just because she's new, but also because, like I said, emotionally and mentally, she carried around a lot of baggage around what metas were and what they meant. And I think she still needs to work through some of that. But obviously, just the newness of her abilities coming through, as well as the fact that she's never used them like willingly before. And then you couple that as well with the fact that hers are very different, right? I don't think we've ever dealt with a mimic before on The Flash, but in the Marvel world, there's definitely a lot of mimicking type characters. But the point is, it can be overwhelming. It can be scary. And the fact is, when you're a mimic, you don't really own a power that you borrow, right? Like you get it, and I suppose you somewhat intrinsically figure out how to use it, but it's not really yours. So it's a little bit different than Barry's power. Like, Barry can hone in on doing things that have to do with speed and speed alone, because that's really what he does. But with her, it's speed or heat or gold, right? Like, who knows what it is that she could be exposed to. And, the wrong thing, like she said, one wrong move or one wrong action could actually be very detrimental. So understandable that she's got a healthy fear of her powers, but also understandable why it's a little bit harder for her to control. But I got to think that all powers at their baseline have got to be fairly similar in the way that they work. So she just has to figure out what her trigger is and how her powers basically turn on. And from there, know what she needs to do, or if she should be using them or not. I wouldn't be surprised too if there's maybe she could figure out a way to turn her powers off. Like, maybe she could get something like, so, we saw those dampener cuffs. Like, maybe she could get a piece of jewelry or some kind of wrist thing that she could wear. So if she doesn't want her powers to just be going off at any other moment, like, again, if she's just getting a coffee, not wanting to turn into a heat meta on command, maybe she could get a little dampener that she can wear temporarily and then take off if she feels like she needs to use her powers. I feel like that might be the best way to go for someone like her, especially if she's not able to figure out how to actually turn it on and off. If she can figure that out, then she's good. But, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I think that we really focused on in this episode. I mean, I feel like the whole heist for the meta bullets was very much just side fodder to kind of foster this whole Kramer/Flash relationship. And I kind of figured out very early on that the fact that she was pushing so hard for the Flash to come and help her or work with her was more about her meta abilities and less to do with actually the whole police work thing. Although she did bring up valid points, like Barry just dropping off criminals with no evidence, no charges, nothing. It's not exactly the easiest thing for the cops to have to go and do all of that legwork. I mean, one could argue that he did do the hard part of catching them, but I get where she was coming from. There should be a little bit better of a system at the very least. And Barry's actually able to do that police work in a matter of seconds. So yeah, I mean, outside of that, what do we really have? We just had Barry basically, deciding whether or not to bring Kramer in on the whole Flash identity. I didn't really think it was a big deal because honestly, Barry is told, like I said, practically the entire world about his abilities at this point. So I just feel like it's no longer like he's the Flash. Like everyone knows, everybody knows, right? Anyone who matters pretty much figures this out or knows. So, or like I said, anyone with eyes would figure out that, like I said, Barry's never in the same place as the Flash ever. So that should tell you right there and then that, that there's a very good chance Barry is the Flash. But anyway, now we know that that relationship is established and hopefully, Barry will be able to help her out. Did notice there was a lot of talking of all in when it comes to relationships this episode as well, which, like I said, it's kind of weird that it was just dropped like 18 times, it felt like. But I'm assuming that there's going to be a theme that's going to be carried on with that. Like we saw it with Frost and her guy, I can't remember his name, Mark. And then, of course, Katie having an issue with that. I personally was not that invested in that whole storyline because honestly, I feel like both Frost and Kate have become very extraneous in this show at this point. And I mean, it's just, me, I've never been a huge Frost fan anyways, but I just feel like even more so now, it's like, what is the point of having these two? Like, there's really they're not really part of Team Flash anymore. They're not really doing things. Caitlyn's barely ever around. So it's kind of like, and I know that a lot of that's probably, I shouldn't say I know, I'm assuming a lot of that has to do with the fact that in real life, Danielle Panabaker, has like a 1-year-old and she probably does not want to be away from her baby too much either. So I get that they're probably doing what they can to accommodate her new mom life, but you get my point. Like, I just kind of feel like I would have preferred to keep Cisco and build up his character than to have what we're getting with Frost right now, because I just feel like it's not really doing anything to add to our plot. Maybe it's just me. For those out there who are loving it, then I'm happy for you. But for myself, I'm just like, I don't know. I personally could have done without all of the stuff around Frost this episode personally. And then, of course, we saw the very tail end. There's Iris. We know I mentioned her hairbrush disappeared. And now we saw here, she had a moment with her dad, and then, the fork in her hand disappeared, the dinner disappeared, and it looks like it reset the entire situation that was happening that night with her having dinner with her dad. So whatever's going on seems to only be happening to Iris, and that scares me, obviously, because she's already been put through so much already. But this sounds to me like, again, the show's going with the same old bloody trope of separating Barry and Iris, and I just don't understand why they keep doing this. Like, this is not the only angst arc you can give these two. Really and truly, there's so many things you guys could do that'll leave West Allen together as a unit, but it looks like we're going to do something else that's going to be messing with Iris. And again, it seems like it ties into what happened with the kids last episode, messing with the timeline. So we'll have to see where that goes. Hopefully it's not going to be something that drags out too long. Because like I said, our West Allen moments are already few and far between. Let's not make this a long distance thing again. But again, I don't know how much of this storyline is because the show really wanted to go here, or because, like I said before, with, Miss Rona still out there and affecting filming and the way that a lot of things have changed over the last couple of years, they might just be trying to create a situation where all the actors are not locked into being away from home for extended periods of time without the ability to leave. And I feel like the show might be trying to work to make sure that the actors don't have to go through too much of that. So that might be why we're going with a storyline where Barry and Iris don't necessarily have to be in the same place at the same time, and allow for a little bit more flexibility schedule-wise. But I'm completely guessing at all that. So we'll have to see how it all goes. I enjoyed watching this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next video.